Hello there, it's Karen here from Crafty Little Miss K. I have been playing about with some new supplies, Stampin' Up supplies. The new catalogue, which I can show you the cover of, but not the inside yet because it hasn't gone live yet, has got some lovely things in it. And I was particularly taken with one set of things in there, which I'm going to just give you a quick sneaky peek of right now. And it made this. This is the stamp set. It's called Signs of Santa, and it comes as a suite. So there's dies to go with this, there's designer series paper, there's other little embellishments, there's ribbon, there's all sorts of things. And I have the dies and the stamp set ready to go here. So when I was making this card, I wanted it to be one of those ones that when you opened it, it twirled. But obviously he's got his list, Santa's got his list in his hand, and it was just a bit too wide, so I've left him there. But what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to get Mrs. Christmas out, because she's not holding anything. And if I just pull her out just for a second, she sits beautifully in that circle. So with a little bit of work, I'll be able to make her, and she will twirl. I've got a little tiny piece left of the baker's twine, which I'm going to be using. So here we go. So I've got everything just cut out ready, but I haven't done any of the holes in the card. I'm going to be very brave and do that while I'm filming. So let's set him aside for a second over there. So really what I've done is I've got an A4 sheet which I've cut down in half, and then I've scored. So this is a roughly 5 7/8 this way, and it's 4 1/8 there, and then it's scored at 4 1/8. In America, I believe you've got slightly wider paper, so you probably need to change your measurements a little bit. And then this one is 4 inches across the short side, and I've forgotten the other one. It's 5 5/8. So it's 5 5/8 and 4 inches there, and that will just sit nicely on there like that. And then this beautiful DSP, if I just quickly show you, it's got some gorgeous stuff in here. So I was absolutely in a frenzy to open it. So you've got sheets like this, and this is embossed. It's got fuzzy bits on it. It's touchy-feely. It's beautiful, and it's absolutely stunning. Double-sided, obviously. And then again, the snowmen, all the little snowballs are fuzzy as well. It's like that flock. On the other side, it's plain. And then this is the plain one. This is what I'm using today. Oh my gosh, you've got. I wish it was touchy-feely, yeah, so you could touch it. All the white stripes are all that flock as well. Absolutely really luxurious paper. And again, it's plain on the other side. And then finally we've got Father Christmas, and even these little bits, the little bits on their hats and the bit on his hat, all the fuzzy, the fluffy bits you would normally get on a Christmas outfit, they're all flocked as well. And then you've got like the candy canes on the back of that one. It's beautiful, beautiful paper. I just fell in love with the suite as soon as I saw it in the catalogue, and just had to have it. I've got 4 young grandchildren, who by the time it comes around to Christmas will be aged 7 and under. So everything is going to be made out of this stuff for them. All their cards and gift bags and what have you. But anyway, so back to this. So I'm going to get out my Big Shot. And like I said, I'm going to be very brave and do this live, and hopefully I'll get the circles all matched up. Let's move that out of the way for a sec. And I need new plates, because I did notice that the DSP on the other card is starting to look a little bit wrinkled around the circle. So first of all, I want to do the if I do the green card first, then I can sort of match it up with everything else. So I'm using the 2 largest of the layering circles, just the plain ones, and I'm taking the smaller of the 2 because I want to have that green border around here. So let's move that out of the way. So I'm just going to work out roughly where it should go, and then although I've got the magnetic plate, I'm actually going to just put a little bit of tape on there just to hold it in place so that it doesn't move. It won't move on the magnetic plate, but just in case I move it before I get it to the plate. So let's pop that down there, and we'll go through. Oops, a daisy. And then what you can do is you can keep that in a circle for another project at some other time. So that's that piece. And then what I'm going to do is now I'm going to make a mark on here. On the other one I used pencil, but I'm going to try not to draw. So I want to use the other I'm going to have to, yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to very lightly draw roughly where this circle needs to go, because I would like it to match first time without me having to faff too much. If I just sort of go like that, really, really lightly, so I can rub it out afterwards, and take the larger of the circles and obviously open it up so don't make a hole all the way through, and then just roughly try and get that so it's an even border. Again, I'm going to use my tiny little bit of tape there. Just move this out the way, and with any luck this will be all in the right position. If you hear any noise outside, or if somebody knocks on the window all of a sudden, that'll be my husband. He's working on the outside of the house this evening before it gets too dark and too late. I've been waiting for it to stop raining so he can actually get on with it. Right, so that's that bit, and then again using the larger circle, I'm now going to get my DSP, which is tucked away underneath my big shot here, and again using this as my template. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this matched up first of all, like that. And just come down just a tiny, tiny little bit. It'd be better if I put this down, wouldn't it, so everybody can see what I'm doing. Okay, like that. And then I'm just going to put tape on there just to hold that there. Turn it over. Again with the circle, like that. And then I can take the green bit off. Now I can just make out that circle there, and I just need to make sure that it's even as much as possible. That's it. And then stick that through as well, and then hopefully that'll be all my windows in the right place. There we go. It's really nice. I love polka dots, so I might have to use the back of some of this paper at some time or other. Okay, so again move that out the way. So that's my 3 pieces. Now I'm going to need the big shot again soon, but not just yet. So let's put it back in its place on the shelf. Okay, so with any luck all these will now match up. If I just pop that back, that's not bad, is it? And it's almost level, but I've got them straighten up anyway. Okay, so let's leave that for the second. What I want to do is get some Whisper White, and of course I haven't got it out ready. I've got any pieces that are big enough. That might be big enough. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to bring it out. You're going to see lots of product here this evening. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out my Stamparatus, and I need a random stamp pad just to pop underneath that lid to make sure it's nice and even. I'll be using one of these later as well. And then let's roughly get it so it's all nice and even there. Right, where's Mrs. Christmas? Actually, it's not right. What I want to do is do some mirror stamping. So I want my silicone mat. It doesn't really matter if that's straight. Hold that in place. And then it's going to be a bit confusing, so you go through all the marks underneath, but let's put her in the middle. Okay. And then I'm going to ink her up with Memento. Father Christmas, because he had so much black on him, it doesn't really take too well on the silicone mat. So I had to do him a couple of times, and looks like her shoes are going to be the same. Actually, it looks very much like I might need to re-ink my black. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, I want to do her again. Yeah, I've got the black Stampin' Up pen out, so if it doesn't all work, I can go over it. Right, while that's still wet, I'm just going to lay the card down on there, give it a little rub, lift it off, and there she is. Now the reason I've done this is because I'm going to do her so she's actually the same both sides as it turns around. Alright, so let me just get a baby wipe and give that a clean. That's it, and then I can give it a dry as well. Okie dokie. So let's move that off, and then let's bring this in again because I want it stamped actually on the white now. So ink it up again. That's lovely. Okay. That's it. Alright, let's leave her off to one side. Okay, so I'm done with the Stamparatus now. Lovely tool. I've used it almost daily since I bought it. So now we've got Mrs. Christmas, although you can't really tell. I've got Mrs. Christmas, but she's flipped over on one of them, which is this one. I can tell because the shoes are a little bit lighter. So I'm just going to pause this while I colour her in, and I will be back in a moment. Okay, I'm back. So I've just coloured her in. I've used, because I haven't got any of the reds, I've only got the cherry cobbler. So she's got a cherry cobbler dress. I've used the ivory for her skin and the two smoky slates for her hair. I've gone over the edge a little bit as well. Hopefully that won't show up too much when I've cut her out. And then I've just touched up her shoes with my black Stampin' Right pen, and a bit of Wink and Stella on her apron and on her collar. Oh, and there's a little bit of pink in there as well, which I've in the bottom of my blends box now, so I won't pull it out. So what we're going to do now is we are going to cut her out using the die. So let's bring my Big Shot back. Okie doke. So let's pop her on like this and get her as near to as possible so that she's got a nice even border all the way around. And like I said before, I've got a magnetic plate, but I'm just going to make sure that doesn't move. That's it. And hopefully not bad. She's got a little bit of a white border there, which I may or may not trim up. And I think my tape's just about had it, so I'll get rid of that. Now, with her, because she's the other way round, I'm actually going to turn her around, and I'm going to just sit down and offer it up to the light and get her roughly in the right place, hopefully, without too much of a white border. And I need a little bit more of my yellow tape. I had a big project the other day, so I've got lots of tape sitting on the side attached to one of my trolleys. Okay, I think that's going to be about it there. So let's see, fingers crossed, shall we? Oh, my plate's gone crooked. Let's see. Right, I don't need that anymore. Okay, great reveal. Let's take that off. And not bad at all, eh? She's got a bit of a raised edge, which I'm just going to run around with my finger now just to straighten, just to sort of flatten down. She's going to be on the inside of the card anyway, so that's it. And now it means that when I glue them together, she'll be the same both sides without any bits sticking out. So I'll leave her there for a sec. Let's move that out the way. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do actually before I go any further is I'm going to glue her together. Just get a length of twine. I don't know how much I'm going to need, so I always cut too much. So like that. So let's get some tumbo on her. This very light amount all the way around. Place this twine right down the middle of her, like that. And then pop this on top. Oh. Right. My husband is now talking to a neighbour in the street. He's calling down to him, and the neighbour is standing in the street calling up to him. So if you can hear voices, that's what it is. So there we go. That's her done. Cute. Get rid of that. So now we'll come back to the card. Get rid of that one there. Okay, I think what I'll do is I will put a layer on first. Need to move it over just a little bit. Actually, the borders will look better that way anyway. That's not bad, is it? So I'm going to put a layer on first, then I'm going to put her on with her string, and then I'm going to put DSP over the top. Now this green is bigger. No, hang on, the hole is smaller, isn't it? Yeah, so I don't want to put the Tombow too near the edge. Like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a quick bead of glue around the white aperture there, just to help hold it and get rid of that glue that's on there. Okay, here we go. And the nice thing about Tombow is if I'm not quite sure I've got it straight first time, I can wiggle it about until I know for sure it is correct. Quick sneaky look, needs to come over just a tiny bit. There we are. So that's all done. It's a little bit off, but it's going to be on the inside, so it doesn't really matter too much. And now I have no idea, because I've touched her up with her shoes, I've got no idea which way. I think that's probably the correct side. So let's pop her on there anyway. So she's going to be roughly, she's going to be right in the middle like that. Let's get this straight. And I'm just going to use a bit of Scotch tape. But this white tape, this is the stuff that doesn't turn yellow. I'm just going to pop that down underneath there. Remembering, of course, the DSP is going to leave a border and a little bit at the top there. Hopefully that's going to not be too, let's do it that way, too wide. Pull it a bit taut like this. I think that's going to show. Let's just cut a piece of that off. It's really only had to hold the twine on until I get the glue on there. That's a bit better. Okay. That's going to stick to my finger now. Okay, and then the, oh, look, it's still stuck to my finger. Right, done. Alright, and then the DSP is going to go on like that. Let's just cut the twine off first though, because we don't want that anymore. That's it. So a bit more. And the DSP is going to be, the green is going to show, so I can go right up to the edge with the with this though. This time like that. Okay. Oh my gosh, I nearly dropped it. Okay. There we go, all done. And so she's going to spin around now, look, nice and freely, unlike her husband. Alright, so that's that. So now I'm going to put sentiment on the front, and the sentiment is from the stamp set. Let me just pop my stamp away. Okay, so the sentiment, actually, funny story. I was playing with this earlier when I was doing Father Christmas, and I noticed there's 2 stamps missing. I have been in contact with demonstrator support, and they are going to send me out a replacement. But they said in the meantime I could keep on using it. So wishing you. Let's pull that one out. What it is, it's this one. It says, I'm wishing you everything on your list. And then inside, it's when eventually it's going to say, and more. Okay, so I have a block here waiting. Just want to make sure that's nice and straight. I'm going to use the grid pattern on my paper to make sure it's nice and straight. Although it doesn't matter because I'm going to cut anyway. So I need another scrap of paper now. That'll do. And my memento again. Oh look, I've got ink on my fingers now. I'm going to wash that. Might go the other way. Alright, so what I'm going to do, hopefully I've put it in the right place. Let's clean it off. Hopefully in the right place to cut it and then flag it. Let's bring out my trimmer. No, it's not. That's it. And then around this side, I'll come down to the bottom. You can't see this, but I'm coming down to the bottom here just to make sure it's all lined up straight with the grid. Okay, and then I'll do the rest by hand. So now I'm just going to do a snip there, a bit closer maybe. I might just make it a little bit closer, that's it. And then just cut it down the middle and then bring the sides in like this. I always get one crooked, not quite there. There we go, so like that. That's going to go on there. I'm going to raise it up on dimensionals, but I think first of all I'm going to just do the edges. So I have got garden green. I'm not sure if I've got a garden green on in my sponges made up yet. Okay, so I'll just get a clean sponge. Oh my life, I'm so sorry. I might have to do this again. I think this thing. And garden green is here. Okay. That done. Turn it round. Couple of dimensionals. There we are. Like I said, the rest of the card I'll have to finish later when I get my new stamp set arrived. In the meantime, here she is, and she twirls nicely. So we've got Mr. and Mrs. Claus getting ready for Christmas. I know it's only August still, but it doesn't matter. I love Christmas. Christmas can happen any time of the year. So yeah, fantastic new stamp set and matching dies, and there's a like I said, there's a whole suite of items that you can get as well, ribbon and what have you. So I hope you like it. I hope you'll have a go, and if you like what you see, I hope you'll give me a thumbs up, and if it's your first time here and you haven't subscribed, perhaps you'd like to subscribe to me, and so you can see what else I'm going to make from the new catalogue, because we're all allowed to do like little sneaky peeks like this now. Just can't actually show you the pages inside because of, you know, there's rules and things we have to abide by. But yeah, it'll be going live very soon though, so everybody else can have a go. If you'd like a catalogue sent to you, please let me know. If you're in the UK especially, or if you're in Europe, but not anywhere else like Australia or America, or Canada, unfortunately, I can send you a catalogue out. Just let me know. Just contact me via my online shop. If you go to www.craftylittlemисsk.stampinup.net, there'll be a place on there that you can request a catalogue and I'll send it out to you. Or you can go to my blog site, which is www.craftylittlemissk.co.uk, and there'll be a place there that you can ask for a catalogue as well. Anyway, so thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon with another little example of what we're going to be seeing in the new catalogue. Bye for now.